And the bottom of my casket will have a file cabinet for all these student loans to rest in heavenly peace. That's how much I owe in student loans. How much money I owe in student loans. Now let me provide you with some additional information, since I know that this video is going to go viral because people are cruel and a lot of people are going to be ready to attack me in the comments and judge me and do whatever they got to do to feel good about themselves. I am a proud 25-year-old with over $100,000 in student loan debt. I went to school. I got a free associate degree through the early college program. I then furthered my education and got 2 additional degrees. I have a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship with a minor in management, and I have a master's degree in organizational leadership. But one thing America doesn't know about me is that I have 1 additional degree that's not on file and it's not in the records anywhere, and that's a law degree. At any given point, I'm prepared to take the stand and explain why I cannot afford to pay a dime on them student loans. Baby, you ain't never seen a sharp, undegreed attorney like me ever in your life. It's my time to shine.
If this pops up on your FYP, that means you got some student loan debt that Trump is trying to get back. I did too. I fell in the same category. Cause baby, I was bamboozled. I don't know who that loan belonged to. I was misled. They told me that I was going to get a job at the end. I don't even recall them saying it was going to be this amount.
Not they said that if we don't pay our student loans back, they finna start garnishing wages. What? You want the little $50? I tried to pay y'all $50 and put me on a payment plan, and y'all didn't want to take that. Y'all talking about 400 payments. In this economy? Girl, if you don't take that $50 and go about your motherfucking business.
I find it so crazy how today marks the day where they just gonna start collecting these student loans and stuff like that. Like, my thing is, the Lord forgave those loans a long time ago. They're above us now.
Hello guys, and welcome to Joy Report. In today's video, we're going to talk about how black folks are hilariously and rightfully dragging the government over its plan to garnish wages for student loans while the Department of Education is falling apart. So the US government really said, run me my money, and black folks everywhere collectively said, who gonna check me, boo? Because apparently the Department of Education is being slowly cut off, but they still think they're gonna garnish wages in the middle of rising rent, $7 eggs, and gas prices that are hitting the roof. Now they want to garnish. And to make it funnier, the same administration trying to collect debt is also talking about dismantling the very department that issued the laws in the first place. It's giving scam, and Black Talk wasted no time addressing the entire situation. If this is the kind of content you enjoy, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing so that YouTube may recommend it to a wider audience. And so now, without further ado guys, let's go straight into this video. But first, let me play you a few videos on this matter and I'll come back with my commentary. As a side note, all credit goes to the creators of these videos.
So I called the student loans people yesterday and I was like, ma'am, because I put me on deferment right now. I don't want no forbearance. No, because forbearance, if you didn't know, your interest continues to grow even though it's paused. No, deferment. Thank you. And the lady said, as of right now, your monthly payments are $1,554. I said, excuse me? No habla inglés. Huh? So then I said, this is a recorded line, right? She said, yes, ma'am, it is. I said, give me a second. Shh. I said, anybody who's on the other end, listen to me. I don't have it. That is rent. $1,554. I said, damn, they greedy, huh? They couldn't just make that 54 cents? Like, dollars? I said, that is rent. I don't have it. I don't have it. I will not have it.
I didn't go to college. Why should I have to pay for student loans? That's what I just heard from the White House secretary. She said, why should everyday Americans who did not go to college have to pay for student loans? Why should people who own homes have to pay for public school? Everybody who owns a home doesn't have kids. I don't have kids. Why am I paying for other people's education? I am a single woman. I do not have a husband. I do not have children. Why am I paying for free lunch programs? I'm not old. Why am I paying into Social Security? Who knows if I'll live past tomorrow? Why am I paying into Social Security that I may never use? I don't have children. Why am I paying for Medicaid and Medicare? I literally pay taxes for everybody else. I don't get any kind of benefit from paying taxes as a single person who is in their 30s. Other people benefit from me working.
is why I hate the news, because they put out things like, why should I be paying for somebody else's education when education should be a right that we all have? It's not about paying student loans. You should be able to go to college for free, period. Why is it that our government doesn't want us to be more successful, more educated, move our country forward? You're building a working class, but ain't nowhere to work. Then on top of that, the people who say these types of things, do you know where your tax dollars are going? Do you know what majority of your tax money go? Military spending. That military spending is not going towards your veterans. It's not going towards those who are actively in the military. It's spent on military equipment. It's spent more on our military than all the first world countries combined. And who gets rich off of wars? Who gets rich off of military contracts? Your Congress members. No wonder they want you to be over here talking about, man, I don't want to pay for no student loans and people to get smarter. No, you'd rather pay for the rich to get richer.
So now they're resuming involuntary collections on student loans. All that time that the, loans were frozen, that was the time where the hackers needed to get into the system and erase all of the student loans, genuinely. Because how are they going to be dismantling the Department of Education, but they want everyone to pay back their student loans? But you're dismantling the whole system that the student loans are in. But we're not going to get rid of those student loans. You're still going to have to pay them. Of course, they're going to make everyone pay their student loans, even if they actually got rid of the Department of Education fully. Of course, they're still going to want that money. It's just actually diabolical. That's why it's the hackers, this whole time, it's been years. And there have been hackers who have hacked on a large scale multiple times throughout this 4 years, right? Why didn't they hack the student loans and erase the whole database? Why didn't that shit get erased when it was announced that the Department of Education was going to be dismantled? Why didn't someone just go in there and say, fully erase student loans, no more, be gone? Is there still time for that?
As soon as news dropped that wage garnishment was back on the table, Black Talk lit up. People were amused by the sheer audacity. The reactions were as wild as they were accurate. Black Americans know how to make light of any situation, even if it's ridiculous. The overall viable line was simple. If the system is crumbling, how is it still trying to collect? Underneath all that sarcasm was a powerful message. Black Americans have been through enough to know when something smells off. The idea that people should keep paying into a system that has already failed them is just too much. The humor wasn't about irresponsibility. It was about calling out the absurdity of being told to honor a contract when the other party has been tearing up the agreement in real time. The jokes came not just from a place of defiance, but from fatigue. Because how many times can someone be expected to pay for the same thing without ever seeing the benefit? Laughter, in this case, is just resistance wearing a smile. The jokes were also a form of therapy, because let's be honest, the student loan system has always felt like a trap. They sold college as the only way out of poverty, then locked the doors once folks walked in. But now, to come back during inflation, job insecurity and social unrest and say, hey, give us back money for a degree you can't even use. Here's where the funny meets the frustrating. Black folks are disproportionately impacted by student loans. Studies have shown they borrow more, struggle longer to pay, and often make less than their palm-colored counterparts, despite having the same or even more education. And now, the government wants to punish them for it. But wait, it gets worse. The very institution trying to enforce garnishments, the US Department of Education, is on the chopping block, with Trump and his administration pushing for its dismantling. Black folks are asking the right question. If y'all don't even want the department anymore, why are you still trying to collect money for it? It's pure hypocrisy. They give bailouts to billion-dollar banks, forgive billions in PPP loans, and write tax loopholes for the rich. But when it comes to everyday working class people, especially black people, suddenly the government tightens its belt and remembers it has bills to collect.
Let me tell you something. The very first time I go to check my pay stub online, and there is a garnishment to some department, because they know Department of Education. So for some department, talking about a student loan garnishment, that will be the last time I receive any wages or tips. I ain't got a tax refund since 2019 and 2019. So I ain't worried about them taking that overpayment, because I mean it's money I never seen anyway. It's money I was never expecting. Didn't get that.
But that money that I work for, that I pay my bills with, I will be a full-time entrepreneur. All my money will be up under my mattress. You hear me? All my money will be up under my mattress. I will figure up my taxes for my business as I do anyway and pay them monthly. Yes, you can do that. So, nah, we not doing that. We ain't doing that. I refuse to pay money back to a department that no longer exists. Not doing it. And then if they gonna garnish your wages, shouldn't that come off your credit? Shouldn't that come off your credit? If it's, cause see, mine ain't even on my credit no more. That's how old I am. I wish they might. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Do what you do. But that's, at my big ass old ass age, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
To make matters worse, half that debt isn't even principal anymore. The math on these loans never seems to make sense. Borrowing a certain amount and then owing double or triple years later isn't just frustrating. It feels like a setup. It's not just the loan, it's the interest. Interest on interest, the late fees, the shifting terms. And now, even as the Department of Education is being broken into pieces, somehow there's still energy to collect. That contradiction is hard to ignore. How can a department that's been downsized still have the authority to chase down payments? Black folks are asking valid questions. If there's no fully functioning department, no oversight, and no clear strategy, then who's really running this show? That's the part that hits home. It's not about dodging responsibility. It's about standing up to a system that keeps changing the rules while pretending to be fair. So yes, people are laughing, but it's the kind of laughter you use when you're 2 seconds away from screaming into a pillow. Because how is it that the same country that can fund wars, space programs, and corporate bailouts can't figure out how to stop preying on people who just wanted an education? And let's be honest, ain't nobody scared of wage garnishment when jobs barely pay enough to live. Now you want to garnish wages over a degree that hasn't done what it promised. The truth is, the mood is less about rebellion and more about reality. Most aren't saying they'll never pay anything. They're saying they can't. The money just isn't there. And in an economy where rent costs more than half a paycheck and groceries eat the rest, garnishing wages is less of a solution and more of an attack. The internet may be laughing, but the message is serious. This system is broken, and black folks are done pretending it makes sense.
This man just said they can just take my bachelor's degree. I'm not even using it anyway. When I tell y'all I felt it, I have a bachelor's and a master's and I'm not even using it. They finna start garnishing people wages starting on the field. It's the 4th now. And I'm so glad my loans are in deferment. Thank you, Jesus. I don't know when I gotta make a payment, but when that day come, can I defer it again? I ain't got it. I ain't have it in. I ain't got it in. At this point, y'all can take my bachelor's and master's. I don't even need it. I feel like they trying to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Like somebody adding up. They really need to bring this student loan forgiveness back. Forgive me for what I didn't know. I was 18 years old when y'all gave me them loans. 18, for God's sake. What you think I was going to do with the money? I'm 32 now. Yeah, I got my degrees. I finished school. But baby, just give me some type of grace or something because I don't have it. It ain't nothing but a couple cents in my bank account. You can have it.
And let's not forget the political side of all this. The decision to restart wage garnishment right as the Department of Education is being downsized sends a clear message, one that feels more like a punishment than policy. Instead of fixing the system, the government is doubling down on enforcement. It's easier to chase payments than to admit the system was a failure, but black folks see the game. They've watched as corporation and the ultra-rich skate by untouched, while working people are told to do more with less. The hypocrisy is blatant. Forgive millions in corporate loans? Sure. Bail out Wall Street? No problem. But try to cancel a few thousand in student loans for working people, and suddenly it's a crisis. That double standard is what's driving the anger. The government wants respect for its rules, but it hasn't earned it, especially not from the people who've been banned by those same rules over and over. So here they are, laughing through the frustration, calling out the madness, and making it clear that enough is enough. Black folks aren't being stubborn, they're being smart. They know when a system is rigged, and they refuse to play by its rules anymore. The jokes are just the surface. Beneath them is a demand for fairness, for accountability, and for change. If the government wants to collect, then it needs to show up with more than threats. It needs to show it's actually working for the people.
Can someone explain what's gonna happen, like, with the whole student loan thing? Like, how can we solve it? What can we do? Because, like, I've been seeing a whole bunch of, oh my God, it sucks, it's just built. Like, what do we do now?
So what do you all think? Do you think the government actually believes these garnishments will work? Or is this just a scare tactic to squeeze folks who are already struggling? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it from me. Also have another video about trackers for Trump regretting their votes. And if you enjoy such kind of videos, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And until the next time, the Joy Report out.